Hey everyone, this is the update for Monday, February 24th. I did a morning one, but it's kind of tricky times right now, so I want to make sure I'm providing as many updates as needed, and kind of helps me as well to recap what's going on and see what's up next, hopefully. So here's a tweet that I showed in the morning, and yeah, it's crazy how history repeats sometimes because that's basically what happened. That 2020 move where we tried to kind of bounce. I always get a little nervous when there's a bounce, on over the weekend, and you kind of come in, and anytime you get a gap overnight, I'm always thinking that the gap's gonna be filled, and that's kind of what happened. We tried to push up, and then we dropped. So let me kind of show you the actual action. So here's ES. So as you can see here, let me zoom in on today. So we, gapped up on Sunday at the open, kind of tried to push up through this blue zone. I had a feeling that this would be resistance because this is where we gapped down on the trade war news a couple weeks ago. And that's exactly what happened. We kind of bounced off this 50-day, the 50-day moving average, pushed up, hit resistance, and then this was right at the open, just started drilling down through the 50-day like it's nothing. And it got all the way down to this 5996 level. It's a Mancini level from a while back, but this also has been some support over the last few weeks, which I'll show you on the daily chart. Let me just pull that up real quick. So if you go to, let's go to ES here. So you can see the area that we dropped to, this 5995. You can see we kind of, touched it on this day. That was 5987. This day, 5982. So we still held above that, but it's the bounce was not not great. So let me flip back to the other chart real quick. So there's usually a lot of selling pressure when these things happen. You can see right here, we tried to push, and then it tried to push again through the 50-day to try to reclaim it, which is great. But then we kind of just fell, and this happened to happen during that 2 o'clock time, 2:30 time frame where they start doing margin calls on people. So they, there's a lot of forced selling that happens. So especially on these downtrend days, I get a little nervous when we start hitting our head, especially when it approaches 2 o'clock. So yeah, again, we're trying to bounce a little bit here. I would kind of hope that we don't really bounce until the day starts tomorrow. Tomorrow's what we call turnaround Tuesday. So hopefully that comes to fruition. The market is starting to get a bit oversold, and I'll show you some charts and data that kind of points to that. But doesn't mean we're out of the woods. I mean, we could still drop lower, and the 200 days kind of far away, but it's nothing surprises me now after you can see right here, this is where I said to add some put protection. This is the top of the sweet spot. That was what, Wednesday, end of day Wednesday, and then there's that government spending or cutting spending on the Pentagon news, whatever it was. That was the excuse they used to sell it, and then we've just dropped 166 points since then. So yeah, that's quite a move, and we always talk about stocks taking the stairs up and the elevator down. This is elevator, 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 elevator. These are just fast moves, and it's hard to kind of adjust other than stopping out of all your positions. Which, again, that's kind of my rule. I broke it a little bit. I stopped out of some positions, but right here, this 8 and 20 day when it broke, I saw this and was like, oh, okay, maybe. And then this whole drilling thing happened on Friday, and just this is the sign to get out. And now you kind of know that if they usually say markets don't bottom on Fridays, So I kind of had a feeling that Monday would be a little bit more red. Didn't think we'd get this far, but it's, again, we're still not that far off of all-time highs, and it feels more painful just because of the speed that it happens. So yeah, so I think the chart kind of speaks for itself right now. We got to take this step by step. We got to get above this green level, which is a 50 SMA. Above this blue zone, which was that trade war gap down. Then we got the 8 EMA and the 20. So I don't like it when the 8 is below the 20. That happened today. It made that flip right here. So we need some serious action to get this pushed up and start curling up so we can get the 8 above the 20. And then above that, then we're good. But until we reclaim that, then the 100-day is at risk. And let me show you the 200 SMA and the 100 SMA. But let me show those on the other chart. Okay, so here we have, so the 100-day was that 60-20 level. So that 60-20 level was support on this day, that day. It broke today. So yeah, I don't have that on my other chart because there's an issue with Thinkorswim where I can't put that on. But yeah, that's another level that we need to reclaim. So 60-20, I think you might remember from previous updates where that 60-20 level was also big. So now it's lined up with the 100 SMA. So yeah, if things start to really break down, we got this level that I brought it back. It was 59.35. This is like some support down here, right where this candle is, like the low of that day. So now we just got to see if we can kind of keep making higher lows. So hopefully we don't. This low was what, 59.87, and we hit 59.94. So hopefully this is enough. We can start bouncing from here. We're at the bottom of the sour spot. So I was talking about the sweet spot, which is this range right here. We've now gone from the top of the sweet spot on Wednesday to the bottom of the sour spot. That's pretty bad in that amount of time. And talking to a lot of friends who have like messaged me like, "What's going on? This is crazy." I'm like, "Yep, it sounds about right." It's these fast moves, just kind of rug pulls they call them. Just trip people up, including myself. So yeah, I'm trying to get better about that. I had some put protection, but it's never enough when these fast moves come. Cool. I'll quickly go over some charts as well, but one chart that I wanted to talk about was it's a data point actually. It's called MMTW, percent of stocks above 20-day average. So what I look for is this 25 or lower. I would consider that a buy. So that means 25% of stocks are above the 20-day average, which means 75% are not. So that's usually an indication that things are getting a little oversold and it's time to buy. It doesn't have to be 25, could be where we are right now. 30 is a decent spot. Same thing on the upside. Above 70 is kind of a sell. So I wasn't one of the indicators I look at is this, and I was like, hey, we're only at 50. That's not overbought or oversold in my opinion. We were not even at 70, so I didn't think we'd sell off that much, but it happens. So now we got hopefully maybe one more day of down and then we bounce, but something to keep a track on. Let's go to let's look at crypto first. So Bitcoin is at a very tenuous spot right now. So right now it's looking a little double toppy, here and here, and then we had such an amazing run. This was back in November, all the way riding up to the sweet spot, and then this level is pretty important. As you can see, like we've kind of held this 91, 92 level multiple times. We broke it on this day to 89 and then bounced, but it's we're seeing a little bit of buying step in here, but If this really breaks hard, I don't think 81,000 is out of the question like fast. Maybe that's the washout that crypto needs, but yeah, Litecoin, I talked about this, that it was holding up pretty well. It was at the top of the sweet spot. Again, just went from top of the sweet spot to the 100 SMA in a few days, but looks okay compared to other crypto names. But yeah, below this, will drop to 90 pretty fast, in my opinion. So crypto's got a lot of work to do, as does the stock market, but they kind of move hand in hand with the market. So not really like a hedge or anything, unfortunately. Palantir, this one just was like everyone couldn't get enough, and then it's just been like I made some money on the pop here and sold it. I didn't think it would get to the 8-day right away. I thought this was maybe just like a dead cat bounce, as they call it. But I should have shorted it when it tried to kind of gapped and pushed to the 8-day. That's a perfect time to reshort. The first 8-day test probably would fail, and we're down at 90. So I'm not the best short. Just have a bullish like thinking usually. But yeah, there are times where I do short, and that's usually when I try to do a test of the try to reclaim. The first chance usually fails. But again, you never know with hot names. But a lot of these hot names that we've been talking about, HIMS. I sold some shares today. I bought some at 49-ish, sold it at 51-ish. Got $2, and but I didn't want to hold it too much for earnings. I still have some shares, but yeah, it's not looking great. It needs to bounce with the rest of the market tomorrow, obviously. But I think after hours on earnings, it was down to like 42 or something like that. So yeah, this might be in a timeout box for a little while and let's the moving averages kind of catch up and kind of maybe flatlines for a bit, or some people are saying it drops here to the 50-day. 50-day has been very popular with a bunch of names. I'll kind of show through that on a few charts. CrowdStrike, again, so strong, just consolidated and started breaking out into this sweet spot range, perfect, and then boom, lost all of its gains since January 28th, in a matter of 4 days. So yeah, that 50-day, that things bounced off of that, decent spot to add on. But yeah, again, it depends on the larger market. But yeah, CrowdStrike. Let's see, what's another one that bounced off of the was it Tempest? I think did they have earnings today? I think they did. Yeah, I think the stock is down a bit. But yeah, this one again, super strong name. The Nancy Pelosi pick that really started rocking this year, and then had this little double top action, and then just fell. Broke the 8, now broke the 20 a little bit, but rallied and closed above it. Still pretty strong compared to the rest. But one thing I want to highlight is on all these charts, I'll show you that this RSI is elevated. You see this the relative strength index, when it gets into this like shaded green look, that's usually a good time to take some profit. So even if you are in the buy and hold camp, I still don't think that you should just hold until the next 10 years. Like, if you can somewhat manage your account every day, it's good to at least keep an eye on your positions and see, okay, hey, this is like, just check the RSI on each of them, or check if they're near the top of the sweet spot, and then put selling targets around there, or just take the profit. Like, you can always buy it back. I know some people worry about long-term capital gains, short-term capital gains, but when you think about I was just talking about CrowdStrike, right? Like, you lost all the gains that you had held from here to there. So what was that? We were at 380, let's say, and it got up to 460. So that's $80 that you could have made, and then but to avoid taxes, you missed out on that opportunity. So again, different ways of thinking about it, but I try not to even worry about that. If it's looking like a good sale, I'll take it. Let's see what other charts are good to look at. Let's look at NVDA. Again, this is the big one this week. I think this is going to be the make or break for the market. If that sounds scary, it should. It's a lot of AI names and a lot of related tech names are relying on this to kind of lift the market at this point. Today, I was saying, it's has earnings. I don't think it's going to drop to the what is that, the 20 SMA, but didn't say it was out of the question, of course, and that's exactly what happened. We tried to push up, but broke the 8-day, broke the 50-day, and held at the 20-day for now. Let's see, maybe they push it down here before earnings. They really just punish people that get into earnings plays too early, especially with NVIDIA. There's probably a ton of exposure that there on such a big name. So just something, Wednesday afternoon, you should get some popcorn ready, because it's gonna be a wild one. The only other big needle mover this week is the PCE on Friday. I think that's gonna, both of them combined could either, one could offset the other, or both could help or both could hurt. So this, just watch those 2 days. That PCE comes out in the morning before the market opens. Let's see what's some other names. Meta. Okay, so another example of this RSI going green. Yeah, right. Like you could have, say you sold like here when it started getting a little green, right? You sold it at 703. You would have missed out on 30 more bucks. But that happens. You could always at least trim some, which I do. So I kind of played it on the way up, and I think I bought some and sold some on this day actually at 735 or something like that. But then I added some here because I was like, oh, okay, back at the 8-day. Actually, sorry, it was closer to 700 and 695, and then it just has completely lost all of its gains since almost a month ago, January 27th, where it closed at 660. We had 662 today. So at least held that, but all this gains are lost now in a matter of 5 days. So these things move fast. It didn't even get to the 50-day yet, which is, as I showed, a lot of these names have fallen to the 50-day. Let's check out Amazon. Almost, top of sweet spot here. Try to push it even higher. We'll double top again, and then boom, just been dripping lower since earnings. Now we're at the 100 SMA. So maybe that's giving it some support for a name that's, look at the RSI. It's almost, what is this, 31? Usually sub 30 is like a very good sign to buy. So maybe we gap down tomorrow, and if we gap down tomorrow, I might buy some shares. And that's why, like, one thing to kind of call out is it's always good to have some what they call dry paper, some money on the sides, so that you can put in to work on these big gap down days. Sometimes like I always wish I have more on, because I have all these like reminders that I set to sell by this day because this might happen, and I always feel like I'm a day or two off. But it's just like a good practice to continue to keep in mind is, that's why taking those profits is great, because there's millions of stocks, millions of days, endless numbers of days to trade. There'll always be another opportunity to make more money on that, or hopefully not lose it. But there's always like plenty of opportunities, and the best opportunities come when there's fear. And right now there's I think there's like this scale that looks at the fear index, they call it, and I think it's at fear right now, and it needs to get to like a deeper level of fear, extreme fear, I think it's called, for it to be like a true buying signal. But yeah, there's just Amazon is a name that I believe should do better in the long run, and I think this 100 SMA is a great spot to add some. Let's see, when was the last time it even broke it? It held here, it broke a little bit, and then reclaimed it. That was back in October of 2024, and then we were below it in September. So a year and a half ago. That's pretty impressive. And that you can tell the 200 SMAs also provided some support. Like this was like an amazing buy opportunity. This is where fear happens, right? This was an event called Volmageddon. It happened, August 5th. There's crazy opportunities to buy on that day, and everyone was freaking out, but that was the time to buy. Let's look at APP. APP is another one above the sweet spot. This was like way extended, and now it's dropped, almost going for the gap fill here, but not quite. So still not bad. It's above the 20-day. This and CrowdStrike, I think, and NVDA are like still doing decent, but look at this. This was overbought beyond overbought, and it just kept going. So this is one like a special name in my opinion. But look at how small. I have to get this chart to even see this. This was that Volmageddon day for this stock. It hit a low of $60. This was in, again, August, so not even a year ago, and it hit 500, 550. Where did it go to? 525. If you're holding this and haven't taken some profit on it, I'm impressed that you're able to hold it this far, but also, come on, when it gets to 500, it's again, those round numbers. Usually, I feel like they fail the first time, but again, with this name, it is special. I just felt like it was, how many earnings reports in a row can a gap up? This one, and now this one. I just felt like I got lucky. I had some options on, but I was like, I'll take it, whatever it is. I sold it at like 500, and I was like, great. But yeah, let's see, what are some other ones? Let's look at Google. Yep, Google today. On Friday, it broke the 100 SMA. I bought some. I shouldn't have done that though, because I had a feeling with the way we were closing on Friday. Like Fridays, we don't usually bottom, so should have known that I'd have an opportunity on today to buy some. But overall, not too bad. I think I bought it around this 180 level. So it tried to push up, and was going to take profit, but I thought we'd at least maybe test the 8-day on this. But nope. And so maybe this 200 SMA, just get that test over with. It's kind of like the bottom of the sour spot. Maybe that's where buyers really step in. Cool. I think that's a good amount of charts. Again, NVIDIA is the big one. Oh, sorry. Let me just do Tesla real quick. So, Tesla, it's, buyers keep stepping in, but man, does it fail quick. This one, I think pre-market, it bumped up on this news about China FSD being released, and, it got to like 340 something, and then it just completely reversed. And then, so it opened here, so it dropped even pre-market, tried to push higher, and then drilled down way lower. So this looks a little bit like an H to me. So, when you do this, so we may go down, and I think there's a gap here. Let's see. Yeah, there's I don't know. I thought there was a gap here, maybe around the 300 level, but can't see it right now. But yeah, this 200-day is right down here, but getting pretty close to oversold on this. So I'm thinking this, maybe gap down tomorrow, and then we run it up. But let me see what the 4-hour chart is showing. Sorry, I know these look kind of crazy sometimes, but it does help to look at different time frames. Yeah, so on the 4-hour chart, we're now what, 27, so we're low. Let's see, like NVIDIA hasn't gotten there yet. Amazon's like deep in that oversold area. So yeah, let's see if tomorrow we get some good action. Let's get that turnaround Tuesday energy, and then we'll take it from there and prepare for NVIDIA earnings. All right, everyone, thanks for your time.